How you doing? So it's Umar, right?
Yeah, Umar.
Umar. Okay, cool. So where in the world are you?
Um, I'm from Sri Lanka. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yeah. So is that where you are
Cool.
now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So how old are you? And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Umar. I'm 17 years old. Um,
Oh,
should be
okay.
18, but I was born in December, so I have to wait until the end of year to grow
To
up.
actually have you birthday. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay,
So,
cool. And
um,
then
I joined the real world when I was 15. At this point, I joined. The exact date is 28th of March, 2023.
okay, cool.
So
So was go on.
So it's been a long journey. There's a lot to talk about. I don't know where to start, to be honest.
Well,
Uh,
I'm gonna throw some questions at you as well. So obviously,
yeah,
you said you started when you was 15, right?
yeah.
So you're still in school. So what made you join the real world, first of all? And obviously, you were still in school at that time. So how was you getting on in school, and what made you join the real world?
Well, to be honest, I was not doing good at school. Not because I can't, but I was like, to be honest, like even before Andrew Tate's and stuff, I was kind of had that feeling that why should you go to school, right? I was seeing people around me going for school for years and years, and then end up with like low paying salary, debt
Mm,
and stuff. So my dad didn't go take that traditional path either. So he was kind of he went to the hustler, business path.
hmm.
So um so to begin my story, my family was in debt. So basically, my dad had a car dealership. So right, he was doing a car dealership where he
Hmm.
imported vehicles from Japan and sold it here. But due to a sudden change in rules and also due to COVID, we took huge hits. So we fell in debt, and then due to COVID, we had to shut down the business completely. At that point, we were like running through our the only money we had, and we had to eventually sell our house. So we
Okay.
moved. Even right now, we are in a rental. So we had to move into a rental house, and yeah, and I joined the real world at March, and then my dad, like, had a kind of a side business at that point. He was trying a lot of different
Yeah.
businesses because we were in debt, and he was trying to do something to get us out of there.
Get the money up. Yeah.
And
100%.
and eventually, he found a good enough business, a good enough path, which is basically to get high-end machineries from import from China and then sell it from here. So
Yeah.
we are like a industrial machinery dealer.
Yeah.
So then I I wanted to apply my marketing knowledge into that business and see what happens. So before I applied to marketing to my dad's business, we were doing like 1,000 to 2,000 k a month in revenue.
Hmm.
That like actually the reason I don't have a specific number to say is because before I worked on that business, we didn't have any like he didn't have like any softwares to track the revenue, so it was just uh not tracking. It was just doing as is.
Yeah.
So eventually, I we have data from January 1st, 2024,
Hmm.
where I apply the marketing, and then within 2 to 3 days, the calls started coming in like crazy. And my dad was like, eventually, he was like, "Can you turn the amount of leads that's coming in, like turn off the ads a
Disgusting.
little bit?"
Oh wow.
So, so fast forward 3 months later, we actually reached 15K per month in revenue, and then
Wow.
we moved out. We started the business where we kept the inventory in our house, the rental house I'm in currently. We kept it in our house, and then customers would come to our house, and then we would do the deal here. So after 3 months, since our business was booming very fast, we moved into a four floor building we rented out, and
Hmm.
then we and in 1 year, we started in January 1st of 2024. It's been 1.5 years since we started, right? So started since we started, meaning like since I started marketing the business. Like before I worked on that business, like he was running it for 3 to 4 months
Hmm.
before that. So it's almost 2 years now. So we have generated on in total like 300K in revenue, and within this 2025 year, we have generated 100K in revenue.
That's
And
awesome.
right now, we have three staffs working for us, and we are planning to even get more staffs because the workload is huge.
It's huge, yeah, yeah. So I got a question for you. So you
Yeah,
saw that your dad was struggling when you was
yeah,
15. Did you drop out of school? Did you just like totally drop out of school?
yeah. Since I dropped out last year meaning 20, at the end of 2024, I did I don't know if you know like the ordinary level examination.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I did
For sure.
that and then dropped out of it of
And
the
then
school.
dropped out. Okay, cool. So how long was it before? Okay, cool. So you helped your dad with the marketing. So you left
Mhm.
school, then you joined the real world, and
Yes.
then you
No,
went
no, no.
straight
So
into.
sorry. No, no, no. I didn't. I joined the revolt, and then you know we were doing well, and then we started at the 2024 January, right? So I
Right,
I left school at about the end of 2024, where
right.
the business was doing well and
You're doing
it was
well, yeah, yeah,
booming
yeah.
fast.
So you left. You joined the real world, obviously, while still at school. And then what? Did you go straight into the marketing campus? And did you have that vision, or did they help you
Marketing.
to have that vision for the marketing? What made you go straight into the marketing campus?
Well, I didn't have money. There were few options for going in the camp going few options to going if you don't have money upfront to invest, right? So like copywriting and the social media marketing, Dylan's campus, and
Hmm.
also the business master campus. So I tried all of them, and the one that the one that interested me most was the copywriting campus. So I went along with that.
Okay, cool. So then you went along with that, studied the courses, and then applied it to your dad's business.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then you were saying the numbers, but I had this question in my head. But you were saying the numbers. So you started applying it to your dad's business. How long was it before you started to see the the
This is the growth.
climb?
Yeah.
Basically, see the growth. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
So, like I said, I applied, meaning I worked on the projects for like 1 week. It was
Hmm.
basically Facebook ads, right?
Hmm.
So he was not doing Facebook ads. He don't, he- you know, he's old school, so he doesn't know anything about that. So my dad is at 60 at this point. So,
Hmm.
he was doing he was marketing in a marketplace website where the thing is like the country we live in, this market is not the market doesn't know that there's this solution in this type of solution. So marketplace is basically if the market is aware of the solution and then they go to search, that's the
Yeah.
marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah. So
facebook
making
is where
everything
you
aware.
target Facebook is where you target people who are not aware of the solution, right?
Mm.
It's the best option. So I went with Facebook ads, and like I said, within like the first initial day of launching the ads, and the second day, about halfway through second day, it there was no calls. My dad was like doubting, is it going to work? And on the third day, the phone started ringing to a point where he said, like, can you reduce the level of leads coming in?
And then, okay, cool. So then, when did you first started seeing? Because you said to me earlier on, can you? Oh, your dad asked you to turn it down, but how was the? What was the revenue on that? So obviously, when the phone started ringing, were people just instantly just buying, or was it a process? Did it take a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How long did it take?
Within like weeks. Some customers, take come straight up, like, call and where is your location. They talk about the product, and then they ask the location, and the next day they come and buy on spot. So
Oh, okay. So it was
uh,
almost instant.
some of them are like next day. Some of them it takes up to a week, because some of them, like, they have to get approval from the government to for extra funds and stuff.
But it's not. It wasn't a month. It wasn't like it didn't take like 2 months or 3 months. It was like you were saying. It was
No,
like
no, it
some of
was
them were instant. Some of them the next week. Some of them
yeah,
were thinking. So you were basically just paying for it. So your so your dad was like thinking, okay, cool, son. I like this. I like this. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Let's keep going. So then,
exactly.
how's your? I mean, how long did it? Because you joined the real world in, let me just get this right. Sorry, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. So you joined the real world in the January. You left
No,
school
it was I joined the real world on 2023 March,
2023 March. Okay, cool. So it
and
was a full.
my dad started the business by himself at the end of 2023, and I started working on his business. I started putting effort into that business at the start of January 2024, start of
Yeah, yeah.
2024,
So
and then I
so was
dropped
it?
out of school at
And then
sorry,
yeah, end of 2024. Yeah, yeah. So it was a
yeah,
full almost year before you actually started seeing some revenue come in properly, or was you making money
revenue.
aside from that?
Yeah, I was making bits here and there using the real world, and also I was kind of a hustler back then too. Even though I was in school,
I'm a
like I
hustler,
said,
baby.
like I said, I
Well,
I didn't like school even before the real world.
yeah,
So
yeah. You was always
um,
looking. You was
I,
always looking for ways to actually make money outside of
yeah,
obviously school. Yeah, yeah.
and I
Which
think
is
one of the biggest factor for that is the fact that my dad also wasn't following the
yeah, yeah.
traditional path.
It's ingrained in, yeah. It's ingrained in the family. It's a family thing. It's in the DNA. So that's all good. That's all good. So how has your life changed? Would you say from obviously joining the real world to obviously at this point at the moment?
Changed a lot, because it gave me a lot of perspective shifts, a ton of them, I would say.
Mm,
Um, and physically, mentally, planning stuff, how to achieve certain goals,
mm,
almost everything. Um, yeah, like physical strength has increased a lot. I'm
mm.
shredded right now. I mean, maybe you can see it on camera, but
You're in good shape. In good shape. That's good.
yeah.
That's good. Good. So it's changed your kind of mindset is
And
into
also,
pretty much.
one of the biggest changes I have seen is the way, like, how I react to things. I'm less emotional than back then how I
Mm,
was,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
There's more of a
and
logical thought process that goes into it.
yeah, exactly.
Mm. Okay, cool. So then, what would you say was the hardest part about this whole journey so far?
Hardest part, I would say, I would have to put a little bit of thought process into this. I think the hardest part is just putting the work in every day. When, like, especially the days where you don't see the results,
Mm,
right? It's like you like you. mathematically you have planned it out, it would work out, but still your brain is like there's no results, right? Especially when
Mm.
starting out. Back and now my brain is kind of used to, long term results, like having
Yeah.
uh,
There's always going
back
to be ups and downs. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
especially the hardest part is when you like the when you have faced a huge growth, and the growth like it's not going to be always growing up, so it's going to
Yeah.
at some point it's going to slow down, and that's when your brain starts to panic. Why is it slowing down?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can,
Yeah, I mean that's it's highs and lows, isn't it? So when you're on the lows is when you,
yeah,
even when you're in the highs as well, you think about how you could do this a lot better to increase your revenue. On your lows, you're like, okay, what did I do wrong to make it go for a low? Do you know what I mean? Okay, cool. Well,
yeah,
I'm not going to imply that, or I'm going to push this at a certain point in time so we don't hit that spot again. So you can structure everything in a way that you can stay consistent all the way through. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
then you can go higher and then stay consistent and go even higher and then stay consistent. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about all of that consistency all the way through. And it's looking at also what you can, yeah. Tell me about your doubts, failures, and like your major turning points, including your biggest win and your biggest breakthrough. Any doubts that you've had along the way, any failures that you've had along the way, and a major turning point that you've seen yourself or the business has seen or whatever yourself, and then obviously the biggest breakthrough. I think the biggest breakthrough is what you were telling me earlier on when you started doing your ads and you saw, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but when you saw the phone started ringing after 3 days and like your dad was
yeah.
like, whoa, calm it down a little bit. That was probably one of the biggest breakthrough. But tell me about any doubts or any failures and turning points, and how did you handle them?
Um, I would say like in terms of doubt, there were a few doubts here and there, but on overall, I was like, I was kind of like I'm not taking any other paths than this type of arrogant, like, I had that arrogant, almost arrogant, like, belief in myself.
Hmm.
I will somehow make this happen. Even before the real world, that's why like you didn't perform at school on my like didn't perform really good in my school. So in terms of doubt, I don't think uh, I had here and there, like I had a few doubts, but in my that it's the this is the only option I had because I already gave up on school. So at
Mm,
this point I can't go back. So this is the only option I had, and had to make it happen, right?
mm.
One of the Some of the biggest doubts were like, whenever I have done everything on my end that I could, and things doesn't go as I planned. But like I said, it's uh back then I was more emotional about it, but
Mm.
right now it's like when things don't go right, it's like I had to have done something wrong here, right?
Yeah, you
So it's more
understand.
of
Yeah,
like a
you're more
logical,
sure about the whole situation. Yeah, I get that. So it's something that
and
you
then
kind of, it's the realization that you've done something to, obviously that's why that's happened. So I need to
yeah,
change something.
even if I like if if I done everything right, and as like professors and other people who's
Hmm.
guide me, there needs to be something logically wrong here that I have done wrong here that resulted in it's not working,
Yeah.
right? So I have started thinking a lot of life in a logical perspective.
Mm.
So
That's fine.
there's less emotional
Yeah.
involvement in here.
Yeah.
And also I have also not only on my dad's business, I have an e-commerce business too.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So you're a hustler,
So
hustler. You're doing a bit
and
of both.
also
That's good.
and also recently I closed since I'm in a copywriting campus, I everyone closes people as client. They don't Most of them don't work for for their own business.
Mm.
So as I want to be relatable for them, so I closed a client, a luxury real estate agency recently, very recently.
Awesome. That's really really good. That's really really good. How has it changed your family's life? Because you went from being in a house, moving into rentals, having to sell your house so how's it changed your family? Because it's not just you, it's your family, because you're living with your family. So how's it changed your
Yeah.
lives?
So the thing is, my family was, my dad was doing car dealership back then, so it's a huge business. It's a, like, high paying business. Um, so my family was living a good life back then, and even when we went into debt, my dad didn't want to, take the good things out of our life. He was like, even in debt, he was spending on us like there was no issue in life.
Mm.
But you can see through that, right? When your dad is struggling,
Yeah, yeah,
you can see in his face,
yeah.
and so it was not really a big of a change because the main reason is even when my dad was on a very low financial point, he was spending a lot on us as
Mm.
if he had money.
Yeah, yeah.
So even when he started to have money, it doesn't change a lot.
Mm.
So the thing is, my family, especially my mom and my sisters, fail to see the change.
Mm.
They think we are always like this.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. What's the most significant thing that you've learned? What's the thing that comes to mind, the forefront of your mind that you've learned the most or taken from, whether it be the real world, whether it be taken from life? What's the most significant thing that you've learned?
Mm, I want to give that a thought. Just well,
Is that your brother?
that's my brother.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Is he in the real world?
No, we use the same account. We
Ah, okay,
sync
cool.
it to
Okay,
two
cool.
devices.
Okay, cool. No problem. Yeah. So yeah, what's the most significant thing that you've learned, whether it be in life or whether it be in the real world or whether it be
See,
in business?
I have to give this a thought. Um, it's it's hard to give you the correct answer when I'm put on spot. But when you're in a shower or someone like walk in,
Yeah, you think
get the
freely. Yeah, sometimes when you're on the spot, yeah, I just throw them at you, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So you could put that down to, when I say the most significant thing that you've learned, it could be whether or how you applied your teachings from the real world into your dad's business. It could be how you've applied your life skills, because you say that now that you know you could have got life skills. You've got fitter, you've got stronger. Um, you don't deal with things in an emotional way anymore. You feel things in a more of a logical way. You look at things in a different perspective. You look at things in a different way.
Mhm.
Is that all learnt from the real world, or is that all learnt through your
Yes,
life
yes.
experiences?
In the real world and also in the life overall, like every time I was emotional about stuff, it's like it doesn't change anything, right?
Mm.
And also when you're emotional, other people can get control of you,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So when you're logical, it's like when you're emotional, you are like you're on the first person in any games if you have played, and
Mm.
it's like when you're logical, you're from a third person perspective. You're
Yeah,
looking down at yourself, So I think that's the biggest shift that has happened
yeah.
in this overall journey.
Cool, cool, cool.
So
So what would you say? What would you say to, like, because you're still quite young. So what would you say to people that tell you that the real world, that's a scam? What would you say to
to
people
be
that turn around
honest,
and said that to you?
Nigel, I don't say anything to them. I just hear them as. There's some people who say that whenever I say about real world, they're like, ah, nah, you're gonna find out he's scamming you. Like I'm like, I don't say anything back. I just shut my mouth,
Yeah,
focus on myself,
yeah. The
and
proof is in the pudding as well. The proof is. I mean, you could flip it in another way. You could say, "Well, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, help my dad scale his
I
business.
mean,
Like, what more
if
do you want?"
at this point, it's not about like no, not enough proof. It's like they're arrogant to not take the action, right?
Mm,
Because there's so many like interviews like this in the website. I think it's more than 1,000. I guess
mm.
I don't know. But you can see like everywhere people are saying the real world works, right? And like I said, at this point, if they're not, if they still say it's a scam, it's like I don't
Then
know what to say.
it's not even worth talking to them. I get what you're saying. It's not even worth entertaining the conversation with them. You just move on. I get that. I get that 100%. I get that 100%. Okay, cool. So, tell me about your plan for the next 6 months, half year, year, 2 years, because you're still quite young.
Yeah.
And is it your own personal plan, or is it a plan that you've helped to put together from the real world, or is it your own personal plan? What's your next plan? Because you closed the deal just the other day, um,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
fantastic. So 6 months, a year. What does it look like for you?
So, in terms of planning, I want to improve this. I want to work. I want to include, real world people's ideas too. But most of up to now, I have planned it myself. Most of them,
Mm,
right? Um, I get inspirations from other people's plan when they post their own plans and stuff,
yeah,
and I mix and match with my own plan.
yeah,
And it, most of the planning structures, how to plan, how to like what is say implement or launch a plan, or what do
yeah,
you say? I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
yeah. No, no, that's right. Yeah.
Uh, how to implement a plan, all those methods and strategies were from the real world.
Okay, cool.
Most of them that are which are used nowadays to create plans and stuff is from the real world, specifically from the Professor Andrew from copywriting campus.
Awesome, awesome. So, what does the next, like as I was saying before, so what does the next 6 months look like for you with your plan in action?
Next 6 months, I have for my dad's business. It's going to be basically we have. So I told you about we are moved out to office, right?
And yeah,
So
yeah.
there's like the building is 4 floors, and at this point, at the current stage, we have only rented the ground floor and the first floor. And recently, the business has been booming really well, and then due to that, we ran out of inventory, like almost almost running out of inventory. So we had to buy a whole 40 feet container full of inventory, and then it's on the way. And also we are renting out the whole building, so the third and fourth floor.
Yeah. So you're taking
Uh,
over.
yeah,
You're
and
taking over the whole
also
building. So then, how
we
does that go on?
sorry.
No, go on. You first. You first.
We have plans to expand it to UK too. So first of all, we're going to plan do for UK, and then maybe within 2 3 years we might be able to expand to other countries too. But
Okay,
our
cool.
first target is UK.
Yeah.
And the e-commerce business I talked about is also at this point we are expanding to UK. Basically, I did a whole rebranding and increased the price, uh, like made the brand look like a premium brand, like more, and then the business, the revenue started skyrocketing,
Yeah.
and we ran out of inventory. So basically, e-commerce meaning like I'm not doing drop shipping. I buy stocks from China and then sell it locally here.
Mhm.
And then uh, we we are going back and forth as a supplier now, and we are like designing a new box and all those stuff.
Yeah.
So the first batch of that new product will go to UK.
Mhm. Okay, cool.
So
That sounds super positive. What does that look like monetary wise? So you
onshore wise,
scaled your dad's business and you looked at all of the accounts and stuff, and you scaled it
yeah.
from that, and you said that you were on about 100K the business has made so far, something like that. 100.
No, overall from the day one, we have made like 300K
Nice.
in revenue. Uh, Within this year, like from 2025 January 1st to up to now, we have made like 100K.
Oh
It was
wow.
100K? Yeah, 100K. So, uh, and sorry, what was your question? I had a brain freeze.
That's okay. Sorry, no. The question was, what does it look like in monetary value? What does it look like in monetary value? So, scaling up, let's say, scaling up
Yeah,
your that's obviously
okay, yeah,
you're renting the third and fourth floor. What does that look like monetary wise in the next
yeah.
like 6 months, and even down to your own business as well?
I think it's a bit of there's a bit of unknowns in the way, like in the way we don't have experience in hiring staff,
Yeah,
hiring new staff, and it's there's a fear of once we hire the staffs, they will take the business and run over.
yeah, yeah,
There's that kind of unknown stuff we have to solve.
yeah,
So, but I'm like aiming for at least 100K in a month overall in my e-commerce business at the end of 2025
yeah.
in my business and my dad's business
That's good.
added up.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, does your brother help you? Because he's standing there. Does he help you? Does he
No,
help with the
he's working
business?
on the laptop.
Okay, cool.
He's working on the laptop right now, but of course he's helping. Like he's he does mostly does like in-person sales and stuff.
Oh,
Jobs
okay,
is
cool.
those stuff. Um, and management and even like when I create marketing stuff, I get approval from him, his ideas, and then before we launch.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I'm going to leave you right there and I'm going to wish you all the best of luck. And I'm going to probably speak to you next year and see where you are. And I hope that by the end of this year, you're going to achieve what you're going to achieve. And just take a few
Of
pointers
course.
out. Just remember what I was saying to you with regards to when obviously, you're going to hit unknown
Hmm.
entities. You're saying about hiring staff, but it's about how you manage those. It's about how you manage those people. So as long as you manage those people correctly and they have a clear direction of where they need to go, then you will be
Hmm.
fine. You would absolutely be fine. And anybody that doesn't have that clear direction as what you have, then is harsh, but they need to go, and you need to find someone that does that. That will solve that unknown kind of area. So you have specifics. Everything has got to be specific, and you got this. There's A, B, C, D, not A, C, F, whatever, blah blah. So there's quite specifics, and you need to kind of follow that, and obviously make sure that they're aware of whether it be training, whether it be whatever that you need to implement into them to make sure that that all gets done. Um, and then just what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else as well.
In terms of like, I was the fear I had was like in terms of not in terms of them getting stuff done, but in terms of like
Mm.
loyalty, and that's the thing. That's kind of there's a fear in there.
Yeah, I mean, there, there's there's workers. They're workers, really. To be fair, they're staff. Are they going to have loyalty towards you? I mean, I worked in a business for ages, and I was very good at. I was in sales, so I was very good at sales. I had loyalty to business, but I also had loyalty to myself. I also had loyalty to me earning money. Um, the thing that got me was that my business didn't have loyalty for me. I was just a number. Okay, so it's how you make that person feel while they're in the business. If you make them feel that they've got their back, if they make a mistake and it's like, okay, cool, well, do you realize what mistake you've made rather than "Rah," having a go at them and this, that, the other, blah, blah. If you,
Exactly. That's one of the major problems I my dad has. Basically, like, he would like, if a staff does a small mistake, he would go on a huge rant on them.
yeah, the thing is,
I would like
mistakes can be made. Mistakes will be made. Okay, along the line, everybody makes
I
mistakes.
like I do say him like, don't call the staff like this. Don't
Yeah, yeah,
call
and
at them.
that's the management because the management side of things and the loyalty side of things is how you're going to treat your staff. Okay, if you want your staff to stay there and you want them to be loyal to you, then you've got to have okay, cool. Yes, they are your staff, number one. And yes, they are number two, there to do a job. Okay, um, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Okay, as long as that mistake doesn't cost the business thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, if it's a small mistake and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's identified early, then you can solve any further problems. As long as that person doesn't keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again, it's a one-time mistake. Do you know what I mean? It's a one-time mistake. It gets made. Okay, cool, done. Don't make it again. Do you realize what you've done? Okay, cool. All right. So we don't need this again because if we need this again, then it's going to cost us. Or it doesn't even know how much. They don't even need to know how much it's going to cost. It's going to have an effect on the business. It's going to have an
Yeah.
effect on the running of thing. It's going to have an effect on that sale. Okay. So you need to understand that, okay, this doesn't need to be made again. So just be a little bit more, um, what's the word I'm looking for again? I'm looking for another word.
Empathy, empathetic,
Sorry?
show empathy.
Uh,
Is that the word?
you're showing empathy, but you're basically telling them just to have a little bit more.
Don't be emotional about it.
No,
Is that
don't.
what you're trying to say?
That's for your manager, for your dad. Okay, he's got to be more logical
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
situation rather than having the emotion in it. The emotion, okay, cool, it's happened. Okay, cool. How to resolve this? Do you know what I mean? How do we resolve this? How do we move forward? Okay, cool. Because if you made a mistake twice, okay, cool. Why are you making this mistake? Are you not aware of something? Do you need training in something else? Do you understand how the process goes through? Do you understand all of these bits and pieces? If it's just made once, then okay, there shouldn't be any more emotion in. There shouldn't be any emotion in it. It's logic. Okay, cool. So what you've got to understand. Okay, I'm going to pull you to one side and I'm going to talk to you. Okay, cool. You made a mistake. Absolutely fine. First mistake, make sure it's your last mistake. Do you understand the mistake that you've made? Yes. Okay, cool. Do you understand how you made it? Yes. I done this and I press this button rather than pressing this button. Okay, cool. Can you just be a little bit more detailed in what you're doing and not make the mistake again? Because if I didn't identify this in this at this section of it, it could have escalated and it could have been a lot more detrimental than what it is at this precise moment in time. So it's how you manage your stuff. Okay, so if you manage your stuff correctly, then you'll gain loyalty from your staff. Okay, if you're running and raving at your thingy and you're an emotional person when you're doing it, then that person might go home and think, "Do I need to be working for this guy?" Do you know what I mean? I could get a guy down the road there do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? He's moaning at
Yeah,
me and I've
exactly.
made one mistake and he's moaning at me. People make mistakes. People like make mistakes, but it's understanding, making them understand that those mistakes cannot be made again. But it's how you put that into kind of context for them. Okay. Um, and that will resonate throughout all of your staff. And again, if they're making constant mistakes, then do you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
not interested in
Replace it.
your interests. So why should you have them
Exactly.
there? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's what I would say. That's what I would say to that. And you can combat the unknown by
Hmm.
again how you deal with them and how you kind of make them feel like this is not just a business. Well, it's a family business. Do you know what I mean? This is a family business, and this is what we've put our blood, sweat, and tears into this. Okay, so we want to pay you, but we want to pay you for a good job. Okay, so you've got to make sure that everything is done Do you know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Then we
Correctly.
should be happy. Okay? That's my
Yeah.
advice to you.
Got it.
It's free.
That's good. It was good.
Take it, use it, tell you that.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. It's really, really good speaking to you. It's really, really good speaking to you. And yeah, we'll speak again, and we'll see where you are in. We'll see where you are in 6 months, maybe a year's time. Obviously, keep pushing with your own business as well. Keep pushing with your e-commerce business as well, because I'm sure you'll smash that out of the park. And again, it's just like whoever you're dealing with, you use the same kind of structure as what I've just spoke to you about. How your dad should use the strange structure as his staff, because like I've got staff. I've got people that necessarily work for me, and I'm very direct. I'm very like, okay, cool. We need to achieve this, 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 and this. If something's not right, I'm saying with respect, it's not right. I want this in a certain way. This is how I was looking at. And I'll give them an example. This is what I'm expecting from you. Do you know what I mean? Or this level of quality, that's what I'm expecting from you. So, do you know what I mean? Let's see if we can deliver that. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's how we do it. Okay, cool. Right, I'll let you go because I can rant on and I rant on and rant on. And yeah, it's really really good. It's really really good what you've achieved. I'm so happy that you've kept it in the family and you've helped your family. I'm so glad that yeah, your brother's sitting there and he's helping out with the family business as well. And yeah, I just wish you guys all the best. Keep pushing hard. Get that 100K by the end of the year, no problem. And then look at that 100K. How did I make that 100K? Double it, triple it, quadruple it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay? Good
Got
stuff.
it.
Good stuff. Okay, cool. Good speaking to you, sir. And I'll catch you soon. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay, take care.